you got there, buddy?
What have I got here? I've got me a raisin chubby. What?
Dude, seriously, again?
What? What did I say?
Oh, it's always going there.
I'm scared. Do you want a taste of my chubby?
Maybe moment.
Hello, one and all.
Hi.
You know who we are, you know what we do. So let's just get on with it, shall we? A couple of things, first of all. So we're going to do our regular shout out, first of all, for a new subscriber to the channel. His name is Chris, and his channel is called Chris's Clever Craft.
Oh, yay.
He does a lot of some lifestyle stuff, a lot of kind of home life stuff about what's going on with him and things like that. Apparently, he recently bought a 100-year-old house where he lives in the States, and he was doing a couple of videos of him working on the loft and things like that.
Found any ghosts yet?
Thank you, Chris, for your subscription and for your support. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Because the first act of Predator, the real film itself, it doesn't really involve our new antagonists in any shape or form. That being the case, we're going to do Acts 1 and 2 in this one episode. We'll put up a movies actually in place of where there would have been the lost 7th episode.
Don't worry, there'll be plenty to see.
Shall we,
Embark upon the first act.
Why not?
Alright.
I've got one thing to say about it, really, and that's about it.
Okay, so I'm curious, what's yours?
Well, before I get onto that, I suppose I've got two things to say about it. Curiously enough, the fictitious country that Predator is set in
Yes.
is a made-up Central American banana republic called Val Verde, which appeared in a number of 80s and 90s films, including first appearing in Commando.
And Commando, as classic Schwarzenegger movie, but
Yeah.
I never caught the name. I knew it was a Central American country of indistinct origin.
I don't think they ever say it in the film. I had to look it up and see, but yeah, that's where it's supposed to be set.
Oh, well, there
Okay.
you go.
Right.
Learned a thing. So that's in the same universe as Commando, theoretically.
Mhm.
So there's two of him running around out there just laying waste to swathes of the jungle and countryside.
The only point that I thought that we needed to have a look at is the discovery of Jim Hopper and the Green Berets.
That is the first point that I had.
It's reasonably easy, I think, to explain away. I mean, thinking about it logically, if the armed forces of Val Verde themselves are expanding more and more into that territory, they would have started to encroach on our new Zulu tribe, who I think for some reason, should we call them Trent's tribe?
Let's...
Trent's tribe?
One of the tiers on Patreon is Trent's tribe, so...
Why not? Why not? For purposes of this theoretical
Yes.
script, let's call it Trent's tribe.
If they were already kind of encroaching on their territory anyway, this may be their reaction to say, "Oi, bugger off."
I was thinking sort of something similar. I mean, something must have happened to Jim Hopper's team.
Mm-hmm.
But it wouldn't have been the Predator, so they wouldn't have been skinned. What would have happened to them? What would the team discover in the trees?
I didn't see a problem with that. I mean, if they're trying to send a message to stay the hell out of our territory, they might skin them.
One must assume, I mean, just for the sake of continuity and giving us a scene here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was just an effigy of some sort, of just a warning sign. No different to what the skinned corpses would be, but just hanged people, probably.
Okay.
Could it not just be hung people?
That could
Not
easily be
hung
what
as
Billy
in-
discovers in the leaves of the tree that he climbs. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That works. So just simply hung
Yeah.
and left, obviously with their stab wounds and things like that.
If you wanted to keep the element of gore in there, we could say they've done something to them, chop their hands and feet off or something.
That's why I was wondering, would they do something ritualistic to them that might inspire fear in their enemies? I'm not sure.
Which would make more sense, because if they're doing it as a warning, they'd want them on display for people to find.
Just say, like, they could be hung up on some sort of sign, so it's no different to a crucifix. But
Yeah.
yeah, you could have it so that they're just hung up as a display, but not in a messed up way, just to say,
Stay out.
Stay out of our territory.
Like all of the hanging pirates in the bay in
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean 3 or whatever it was.
No different to the Boltons in Game of Thrones as well.
Ooh, sorry, that's just a new idea.
What's that?
Something I hadn't considered before. If they've done that to that team,
Yeah.
does that mean now then that our Trent's tribe now have their weapons?
Yeah, theoretically, I mean, at most 6 weapons.
And if we're saying that they've been watching the Valverde armed forces anyway, so they will have at least a visual idea of what a gun is. I mean, obviously, the Zulus in Zulu had guns.
Yes.
Some of them did.
Some of them did, they looted the bodies. And yes, that's why I hesitated, but then said they might loot the bodies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the Zulus did, and take the weapons. They've seen people do X action with them, they can work out some of what it does, even if they don't understand what it is.
Mm-hmm. Just
Does
thinking
that
about
make
it
sense to you?
Yeah.
So 6 weapons at most.
Fantastic. I did wonder, do we want to then, for this particular movie, do we want to have a kill counter somewhere on screen? Or how many we get through?
Yeah.
I feel like we should.
Okay. Oh, if you
I
want...
feel like we should, because we're going to get through a few.
Yeah.
We're going to get through a few.
Ding! Make a chart
Ding!
tally on.
That's terrible.
So are we keeping it towards the fact that it's still action-packed at the beginning? That
Yeah, the rest of that act should run the same way as Predator does.
okay? Are we still having Long Tall Sally playing?
Yeah,
On the
all
helicopter?
of that stuff.
All of that stuff is added in there?
Oh, yeah.
It's still in there, I mean,
Well, because that's before they get into the middle of things where things could change.
before they meet Jim. Is it Jim Hopper?
Jim Hopper is the guy, when they find the
yes.
green berets that they find being killed. So that was the only point, and then they go off, they do the job as they do in the film.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't got time to bleed.
I did notice, right, for starters, one of the things I noticed that we should take consideration of is after they realise that Dylan has set them up as a CIA guy and stuff like that, they radio in and they're told that there are massive enemy forces coming their way, and the only way out is through a steep valley.
Yes.
So, strategically speaking, that's quite a thing to remember.
And especially as we said the last time that our tribe are using the trees to manoeuvre in the same way the Predator does. Obviously, they've had time to develop.
Yeah.
Which I suppose it means we'll get them. They'll be able to quite a lot of upper body strength from jumping around through trees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a whole moment in the movie when Blaine and Max stop and complain about how incredibly dense the jungle is and how hard it is to move through it. And we should have a moment where we see the tribe moving silently through the brush.
Yes.
So we need to see that they know this place. They know it intimately.
Yeah, quite easily, quite at home.
Yeah. I'll have that conversation. I think that was the thing I was thinking. We just need a cutaway so we get a little bit of a warning of the incoming danger.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yes, because we'll lose things like the aftermath of the attack.
Yeah,
where the Predator's watching them when he picks up the Scorpion, the Predator coming down picking it up.
No, we won't get any of that, yeah. Do you have any thoughts on Act 1 at all?
No, not particularly. If that was just, it was more of the case of Long Tail Sally and keeping things like little details like that.
Those things are all good because there's nothing to interrupt it. There's nothing in our story that's going to change that, is there?
No.
This is weird. I'm sorry, we haven't done this since episode 1. We are moving on to Act 2.
So we are in the jungle. I can't remember who goes first. Is it Shane Black gets killed first, doesn't he?
Yes. Hawkins gets killed
Hawkins,
first.
that's it.
But
There's another one.
I just want to. What?
Stranger Things. The town's called Hawkins.
Oh, right. Oh my God, that could. How will we know? We'll have to wait and see if the Duffer Brothers tell us.
Hawkins is deaf.
Hawkins' death is it? So Hawkins goes first.
Yes.
So how are we going to do this differently?
Well, all right. I just want to go back just one moment.
Sorry.
There's that bit when Billy stops and he does the creepy stare into the tree line, and Dutch goes up to him and is like, "What is it? What do you see?" Obviously, these are men. There's something in those trees. There ain't no man.
Yeah.
What do you think Billy says in that moment? Does he just say, like, we're being followed, we're being tracked, we're not alone? Because that's a moment for Billy to say something ominous, and that leads into what's going to happen.
Pretty much those examples would fit.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah. Well,
Right,
yeah.
for
What's your favourite pick?
We're Not Alone, I liked. I wasn't a fan of that one.
Yeah.
We're Not Alone. Yeah, alright, okay.
Because I did think about that. I thought maybe with the warriors themselves, maybe they've coated themselves in moss and things like that, so they're masking their scent.
Oh, right. Yes, I can see that working.
So he
And
knows
then-
something's there, but
Almost immediately after that, Anna runs away and Hawkins chases and he goes, goodbye.
I had an idea.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to work. Again, coming back to this thing that they're using the trees,
Mm-hmm.
that they've kind of developed this kind of strange kind of weapon. It's like made out of like knotted vines. So it's either going to be like a noose or like a hook on the end. They hook it down, hook in through his shoulders, drag him up into the trees.
Ooh. You want to get that gore back in the scene, don't you?
But it's just one, because I think we need the blood splatter on Anna's face at that moment, but also because all she sees is these vines come down and pull him away.
The jungle came alive.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, yeah.
Give
Yeah.
that man a gold
I
star.
would say that's a gold star.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well done, Max.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
I suppose the only bit that we would miss, though, is when they find his pack and his guts and stuff.
There would be gore from him being wrenched up into the trees, so there would be some blood and mess and gore underneath where they wrenched him up into the trees.
Yeah.
They wouldn't take his pack. They might take his gun because of what we just talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fine,
Do
yeah.
you think they take the gun? Because if they were up in the trees, that's some distance to go.
Maybe if we say that, I mean, obviously the weapon that he's got is maybe different to the ones that they've found previously, and they don't know how this one works.
What, leave the gun?
Yes, because the gun he has isn't like the guns they carry aren't like M16s. They're not like standard rifles. They're all machine guns or semi-machine guns or miniguns. They're all odd issue weapons that look strange.
Yeah.
So we get that scene. Then why didn't they take the pack? Why didn't they take his weapon?
Mm-hmm.
We've got that. So they go to find the body, don't they?
Mhm.
And then Blaine goes off ahead with his minigun. Now this is where I think things might start to change.
Yes.
Because Blaine is not going to have his chest blown out all of a sudden by unseen enemies.
My original thought was if you had the biggest guy in the party taken out by the smallest thing, and then they hit him with a blow dart. But that's too easy, because if they find the blow dart, that will give them an idea of what they're facing. Or that, you know, it removes the mystery of what's out there for them to a degree.
Okay.
I like the image, but it feels like we're cheating ourselves of a lovely moment of action.
Yes.
Because there are 4,000 of them.
Hmm.
We need them to actually fight each other.
So are we saying that Blaine gets the minigun off a few of them, and they overpower him?
I was thinking something like that, but I don't know. Because,
You're the director.
I mean, do you think he should go down quickly, or do you think he should have a moment of standing off and standing off and standing off?
I think there could be a moment where he's against a handful, at least. I was thinking a trap,
Oh,
led by the Zulu tribe.
yeah, that's I think we should.
I think you should.
That should have a star.
You should have a start.
There's still conflict and drama, but we don't have to have 15,000.
No.
It's just led out by them, and that's what makes the Zulu tribe a don't screw us type of thing.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So, he hears a sound, one of them makes like a caw caw
Or something similar, yeah.
but no tuki.
I think we agreed that caca and tuki
Tuki
don't work.
One of them leaps out of it or something, or they do something, and they lead him into a trap, and it's like a pungy spring or a floor trap, pit trap.
I think pungy is better. Something coming out of the forest out.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I
then,
just thought it was like
because that
something
then
spikes.
leaves him, like, with his body suspended,
Yes.
with his weapon for Mac to pick up.
Makes sense.
You know,
How about this then? The trap gets sprung, it spins around, it's already got the barrel going. I imagine he almost shears the piece of wood on the trap almost in half with the gun, but it's still the momentum just carries it through and hits him.
oh no, that's brilliant. Yeah, you get that close-up of the splintering wood, but it doesn't quite break, and it just slams into his gut.
Yeah. And then we get, as you say, Mac runs down there, grabs it, and And
You get killed as well?
Mac doesn't get killed now.
Not at this
He
point.
didn't
No.
get killed there in the first scene. Let's acknowledge the fact that Blaine wasted quite a bit of ammo when they were attacking the camp, because he showed off a few times, like
Yes.
just blowing the shit out of oil drums and shit like that for no
Right.
reason. But Max just lost his best mate. How mental is he going to go?
It's kind of mental.
Do you think he's going to blow the entire pack?
If we're going to say that scene plays out the same way as it does in Predator, then yes.
I'm just wondering, like, for future revisions, we've got an ammo count on the go at the moment.
We do.
And we haven't been doing our kill counts as well.
We haven't. No,
Well, we haven't. We've got two down on one side. We're now discussing how many they're going to get with the minigun. It jams.
It jams. Oh, that's
Okay.
perfect. So maybe he takes out 2 or 3 dozen?
Yeah.
Because that's a broad spray of that thing lays out like 56 and 60 bullets.
It heats up.
Yeah. And just
Okay.
jams. And so he's still doing the thing when he's clicking on the thing, but it's just not turning because it's jammed.
So he takes them out, but obviously everybody else rushes in and unloads as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we said about a couple of dozen from the minigun, and do we want to say another dozen or so from, because they're shooting grenades and everything into there.
Oh, no, with the grenades, you're talking more than dozens, I think. Come on, we've got thousands of them.
Okay.
Literally thousands
Okay.
of them.
So let's say they take out upwards of 90 to 100.
That sounds about reasonable to me.
Yeah.
It's got to be done in the same style like when they ambushed in the village as well.
Yes.
It's got to look very Rambo-y as well. They shoot the drone.
Of course.
Yeah, because this is the point in the movie when they still got loads of ammo and they can
Yeah.
show off. Yeah.
Somebody may get injured because, as I said, they're using the trees. If they're firing at them, somebody might throw a spear or something from out of the trees, so they start shooting up as well. So
Yeah,
that will,
that will waste some ammo.
yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously, just that much lead being shot in that area, they back off to regroup.
Yeah. I'd say at least 100.
Yeah.
At least 100.
Is
We've got
Anna mentioned in this at all? I guess there's no...
She's still
Oh, no,
there.
Anna's
She's
with
still
them.
Because at this point, once they go and search, they will find the bodies. So we don't need her finding the blood on the leaf and things like that, because
No.
they find bodies.
And so I guess that the we hit nothing is replaced with a scene like Billy surveying the battle scene and trying to assess like the numbers that you might be looking at and where they came from and what happened and all that shit. You
So
know?
when they do survey that, then you can have Dutch turn, or one of them turn around to Dylan after Hawkins gets killed. He says, "There's just a couple of guys running around out there."
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys running around there, Dylan. Of course there is.
A couple of thousand guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Right,
then we're into
and where
the
am I?
night time, isn't it? Where they set up camp.
That's when they set up camp and all the mines and things.
Yeah.
And
With Matt going, I see you, is it? When he goes up there and it looks out in the distance, is that in Act 3?
That's in like Act 3.
no,
that's
that's Act 3, yes.
yeah, that's just before he dies. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Yeah,
this
so-
is the bit when he kills the boar in the middle of the night with his knife.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I take it then they're not going to come back and take Blaine's body.
No, but I imagine they would come back and take their bodies.
Yes. Yes.
Gold star, I'd say, for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
thank you.
No, I didn't think about that. That gives an extra,
I
human
can imagine
dimension
it, a nice
to.
silhouetted shot. And
Yeah.
the moonlight. I don't know.
And these shadows moving in from all directions.
So does that suggest that possibly they sent the boar in to distract them so they could get the bodies?
Yes. Of course, there's 4,000
That's
of
a
them.
good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea.
It's a good idea.
Oh, sorry, I didn't want to presume.
No, that's brilliant. That makes it a part of the actual.
Yeah.
It's not just a random moment. It's a part of the actual story. It's like the counting the guns moment.
It says setting the range and things like that. Yeah. So we're into the next morning, that's when they set up the trap, don't they?
When they realise they've all come in, taken away all
Yeah.
the bodies, but never set off any tripwires, that's when they start setting off the more primitive traps.
Do we want to allow then that Billy has at least an attempt at trying to gauge their numbers?
Oh, yes, sorry, that was what I was suggesting just a moment ago.
Oh, sorry, I misheard. Sorry, mate. Do you think there's a risk that we might lose Billy at this point if he goes off on his own?
Easily.
Or there's a piece of action where he takes a few more of them out, so we can see a bit more of what he can do. You never really get to see what
What,
he
his
can
own
do.
death scene, you mean?
Well, I mean, obviously, cause
Yeah, one you can actually see.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to kill him now. We could just have a bit of action with him getting a few licks in himself, so we can see how much of a badass it seems to imply that he is.
I'd like that. I'd
Yeah.
like that, because
Pull it
he's
out,
so He's telegraphed as being such a badass, but he never really gets any proper scenes.
Okay.
Let's say another 5 or 6.
Yeah. Well,
More deaths, the better.
I'm going to say he could easily take out 20.
Okay.
He's armed with it. And
Yeah, and he's got his knife and all that kind of thing. And
We need the action shots to be in there, people.
we do need the money shots.
there's going to be so much more physical action in this movie than there is in Predator. Because the fights go on and on and on and on and on and on.
Yes.
So much more.
But as you say, this is the point where they decide, well, we're going to make a stand here and try and, you know, do we want to have our Trent's tribe chieftain played by Kevin Peter Hall?
Well, why not? We should give the guy a job, right?
Mhm.
Yes, I like that as well. Because he's an amazingly big black man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can still be here. Yeah, you can do this.
How are we going to have the trap go down? I take it they just get overwhelmed?
It feels like that should be the thing.
Mm-hmm. Maybe what they've done is, as if they've got like grenades and stuff like that and claymores, they've set them up in such a way that they've created like an exit corridor for them to get
Escape
through.
from.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and so they draw them in and then they bolt.
yeah.
So they're only going one way.
Yeah, because they need to get over there.
Yeah.
We need to draw them all around, but we need to leave that exit open so that we can escape. This might hold them up a little bit. So it may instead then be, so rather than doing we're going to hold them here, they lay traps. So as they retreat,
Like a fighting retreat, but
Yes.
assisted with traps.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That works. That
Okay.
works. Yeah, yeah. That would give us loads of rolling action as well
yes,
in this.
fantastic. I mean, we could even have it that the last bit that they do is where the log, the fallen tree trunk where Billy does his last stand. One of their things is that they've set that up, they've rigged that up to explode, to blow,
Yeah.
so they can't follow them over the ravine. But then they discover there's a shitload more of them on the other side anyway. Because that's about where we've called it, isn't it? Because we're not going that far, are we?
No, we're not going that far because we need to stretch that out.
Yes.
Does that work for you? Do you have any?
No, that's all fine by me.
You sure?
Yeah,
It's all going to be the last act, isn't it?
it is step by step, but yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so we managed to blast our way through that pretty quickly, like Dutch and his team are doing through some poor natives. Please do come back and join us on Friday when we will be looking at Act 3 of Tribe. And as always, have a great tomorrow. Or not, if you're not watching this then. Are you confused?
Just have a great day wherever you are.
Take care.
Bye.
As always, guys, TTFA.
Ba 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 ba.